Envision the gentle hiss of onions softening in butter, their sharp aroma mellowing into a deep, sweet perfume laced with the tangy kiss of balsamic vinegar that reduces to a glossy syrup. Then, the pork tenderloin enters the scene, searing to a caramel crust that promises a juicy, rosy interior, each slice drenched in that sauce, delivering a bite that's tender, savory, and utterly addictive. Pork tenderloin has graced tables for centuries, prized for its lean elegance and quick cooking time. In medieval Europe, pork was a staple, but the tenderloin cut gained refinement in Italian cuisine, where balsamic vinegar from Modena transformed simple meats into gourmet delights. Balsamic, aged in wooden barrels since the Renaissance, brings a complex sweetness born from grape must, pairing perfectly with onions in dishes that echo Tuscan traditions. This combination likely evolved from rustic farm meals, where caramelized onions sweetened humble roasts, elevated by balsamic's acidity to balance richness. Today, it's a modern classic, blending history's simplicity with flavors that feel timeless and indulgent. Many home cooks falter here by rushing the onions, resulting in soggy strands instead of jammy perfection, or by overcooking the pork until it's dry and tough. Without proper caramelization, onions stay pungent and watery, missing that transformative sweetness from slow heat. For the pork, ignoring resting time lets juices escape, turning a potential masterpiece into a chewy disappointment. My approach sidesteps these by caramelizing onions low and slow to fully break down sugars, and searing the pork hot, then finishing gently to lock in moisture through precise temperature control, ensuring every element shines. Begin with 2 medium red onions, sliced thinly into half-moons, because their higher sugar content yields deeper caramelization than yellow varieties. In a large skillet over medium-low heat, melt 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter with a drizzle of olive oil to prevent burning. Add the onions with a pinch of kosher salt, which draws out moisture to speed softening without sogginess. Stir occasionally for about 20 minutes, watching as they turn translucent and release a subtle steam, their edges beginning to brown. This initial sweat evaporates water, concentrating flavors and preparing for the Maillard reaction, where heat transforms amino acids and sugars into hundreds of nutty, savory compounds. Once golden, pour in a 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar and a teaspoon of honey. The vinegar's acidity cuts through onion sweetness while reducing to a syrupy glaze, and honey adds a floral note that balances tartness. Simmer for another 10 minutes until the mixture thickens to coat the back of a spoon, filling the kitchen with a vinegary tang that evolves into warm, inviting caramel notes. Remove the onions to a bowl, leaving those flavorful fond bits in the pan. They're gold for the pork. Now, take a 1.5-pound pork tenderloin, trimmed of silver skin to avoid toughness, and pat it dry thoroughly with paper towels. Dryness is key for a crisp sear, as moisture creates steam that hinders browning. Season all sides with a teaspoon of kosher salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, and a sprinkle of dried thyme for earthy depth. Heat the same skillet over medium-high with another tablespoon of olive oil until it shimmers. Place the pork in carefully, searing for 2 minutes per side until a deep golden crust forms. This high heat step triggers the Maillard reaction again, creating a flavorful barrier that seals in juices while developing complex tastes. Reduce the heat to medium, add a splash of chicken broth, about a 1/4 cup, to deglaze, scraping up those browned bits for umami richness. Return the balsamic onions to the pan around the pork, nestling them in. Cover partially and cook for 10 to 12 minutes, turning the pork once, until an instant read thermometer hits 145 degrees Fahrenheit in the thickest part. The partial cover traps steam to gently cook the interior without drying, while the onions infuse the meat with their glaze. Rest the pork on a cutting board tinted with foil for 5 minutes. This pause allows juices to redistribute through the muscle fibers, ensuring each slice is moist and flavorful rather than pooling on the plate. Slice the tenderloin into medallions about ½ inch thick, revealing that perfect pink center. Arrange them on a platter, spooning the balsamic onions and sauce over top, letting the glossy mixture cascade down. The aroma peaks here, savory pork mingled with sweet tart onions inviting you in. That first bite is transcendent. The crust yields with a subtle snap, giving way to buttery tenderness that melts on your tongue, while the onions add a silky, caramelized contrast, bursting with balsamic brightness. It's harmony in every forkful. This dish rewards your effort with elegance that's deceptively simple, turning everyday ingredients into a memory-making meal that nourishes body and soul. What's your twist on balsamic and savory dishes? Glazes, reductions, or something unexpected? Share below and let's swap ideas.